Well, I'm in my car and I'm off to get a flu vaccine. First time I can remember ever having one. I'm not what you would call an anti-vaxxer. I'm probably a skeptic. I'm hesitant about many vaccines. Had many vaccines in my life. Haven't said that. So I wouldn't fit under the title of an anti-vaxxer, but I guess I'm pro-choice. I guess that's what I am. I'm pro-choice. My brother used that line on this issue, and I think it's a good line. There's a lot of areas I'm pro-life, but on this one I'm pro-choice. But I found myself with a quandary. I have an open door of opportunity to preach the gospel at a local nursing home. But to preach the gospel there, right now, to access that place, I need to have had myself a flu shot. And so I'm off to get a jab. I settled it with the Lord a couple of nights ago, prayed about it, sorted it out before the Lord. Decided my opposition is a philosophical opposition. Never have I ever looked at someone who's gone and gotten a vaccine, gone and gotten the flu shot, and gone, now there is a compromising Christian. That's never been my philosophy. And so I came to the conclusion that my opposition to flu shots is more philosophical than faith-based. It's more on my own preferences and choices in life, rather than anything I've seen in the scriptures about whether you should get the jab or not. And so, to be able to walk through the door of opportunity that God's laid before me, I've decided to have this flu shot. And I'm stating now that I'm getting a flu shot not against my own free will, because it is my choice. But I have been forced to choose between my philosophies, my philosophical preferences, my health choices. I've been forced to choose between what I put in my body and access to a mission field that God has opened up before me. And so I have this shot with a contest in my mind. I'm off to do it, but I'm torn about it. Well, here we go. Well, there it is. Flu shot's done. Got myself a little jab in the arm. Last time I had a shot, it was a tetanus shot. So, I was bracing myself for a dead arm for a day. But, as far as needles go, about as pleasant as they could be. I thought, just as I'm heading up my driveway, I'd let you in on my thoughts on my wrestle that I mentioned beforehand. So here's my quandary. I have a desire to obey the Lord. I have a clear mandate to go into all the world and preach the gospel. I have a great door and effectual opened unto me at the local nursing home and an established ministry there of witnessing and supporting the elderly. And they're going through a time where, for right or wrong, the reality of their life at the moment is they have no visitors. Very, very few. And the visitors they do have are limited in time, and then interstate family have difficulty getting to them. There's all sorts of difficulties attached. And so they're going through a difficult time. But to access that nursing home, to continue to minister there physically, to be there, there's this legislation that requires anyone entering a nursing home to have a flu shot. Well, that doesn't create a problem unless you're one that's never had a flu shot and had a philosophical, if I might say, opposition to it, which is where I stood. But I came to the conclusion that I did not have a scriptural opposition to it. And so I then had to choose between what the scriptures clearly require for me to do. And that's be a minister of the gospel. And so as I seek to preach the gospel there, I have the need to get this flu shot. And so in getting the flu shot, I keep the door of ministry open, but I compromise my personal preferences. I just had some medication. I just had a form of medicine, if you like, and I didn't take it for my benefit. I didn't take it because I thought it was best for my health. I was always of the opinion that I should make choices about what medications and procedures and things I have done based on my health. I make health choices based on what I consider to be healthy and good. Whereas I've been put in a position where I had to make a choice about what I put in my body based on legislation, a government requirement. I didn't make that choice because I thought it was best for my health. I didn't make that choice because I agreed with the flu vaccine being the solution. If ever there's a year to not have a flu vaccine, with all our social distancing and increased hygiene, hand washing and keeping away from one another and all the limitations that are in place, they're already seeing the flu drop dramatically as they've sought to control this coronavirus. And so if there ever was a year where the flu is probably less a risk, it's this year. And then the way the vaccines are put together, and it's a bit of a shot in the dark as to whether even the ingredients of the vaccine will combat the strain of the flu that goes around this year. And on top of that, all the pros and cons and the debates that go around vaccines that are there as well. And so for all of those reasons, I've never had a flu shot. And I don't appreciate having my arm twisted and having to choose between my own philosophies and my scriptural convictions. But the Lord often allows us to be in that place. We have found ourselves in a day and time where we have to make many choices about obeying civil authorities or disobeying them, and have to weigh up where the line between obeying God and obeying man comes in. And much of it is blurred by our rebellious nature. I got to be honest, there's an element in me that would happily kick against the government just to kick. You tell me to do it, I'm gonna not, just 'cause you're not gonna tell me what to do. I got that in me. I got to guard against that. So as you make your choices, this isn't a video about whether you should get the vaccine or not. That's up to you. This is about why I chose to get mine. How I came to the conclusion that little shot, I don't think it'll do anything for my health. I don't think it'll make any difference as to whether I get the flu or not this year. I don't think it'll have any impact as to whether the flu is spread around central Queensland or not. If anything, I'd be more worried about the health implications, the negative health implications it'll have on my system rather than the positive health implications it'll have. But it allowed me to continue to minister. At the door of opportunity I have to at the local nursing home remains open, and I'm able to go and minister to those residents, share the gospel with them, and preach Christ unto them. So in praying and seeking the Lord on it, it seemed to me to be a choice that I shouldn't have had to make. A choice that I was backed into by legislation and the current world environment, but a choice nonetheless between my own preferences and the ministry God had given me. Having what I want, or continuing to do what God has called me to do. Be careful that as you make your decisions, you're not just chucking a tantrum to get your way. Make sure you're making godly decisions. Decisions that are pleasing to God, not just pleasing to man and pleasing to yourself. I think I did the right thing. Don't know if you'll agree. You certainly don't need to agree. But I feel I did what the Lord wanted me to do. And as you make some real practical decisions, that's all we can do. Walk in the light that the Lord has given us. Well, we'll see you later.